Hey, welcome back. All right, let's get this into student preview mode. And we'll get rolling here. Nice timing. All right, so today, week 12, we're on movement and we're on the final phase of your poster design. So because of that, I will be around on Thursday, but I won't be lecturing on Thursday. I'm going to let you use that time to finish up the poster, go back and forth with me on the final design, check things out. How is this going? How is it looking? And then we can finish that up and we will be finished with your first poster design. And then next week, Tuesday, we will start on a new project, an InDesign pamphlet. So Thursday, I'm going to say this now. Thursday, I will be here. I will be around, but I will not be lecturing. I want you to use that time to work on your final project and get them really good looking. So, all right, without further ado, let's get into the movement lecture and talk about the principle of movement. Where is it? There it is. All right. This is an exciting one because you can do so much stuff. And you guys know I love to talk about this idea of movement, or any of the things we do in graphic design are all just illusions. Like we're just making lines and shapes that trick a person into thinking something else is happening, maybe. And we can do such amazing fun things, and movement is one of them. And I will be the first to say, for me personally, I don't think about this one enough. I think about how the eye moves around a piece, when you read it, like, oh, the principles of design. Like I think about this, and then I have this, but I don't think about like, what if I like put a graphic in here, a sweeping graphic that like helped bring the eye around. But you'll see what I'm talking about with these examples. And like what you can do is quite amazing of how much movement you can put into a piece with just some simple ideas going through. So let's check it out. All right. Of course. And like the principles, use the elements of design. So to create movement, well, let's start with lines. Lines, lines and arrows, anything like that. That is creating movement. I make this. We know where to look, like down and dirty. There's an arrow pointing up. And I'm going to, if I was reading this and I was like, it's dynamic movement and movement and design, and I was like, oh, and my eye's going to follow that. And even I don't even need an arrow. It's just going to naturally follow it because I ended here and I'm like, oh, wait, oh, I'm intrigued. And so I go up, and that's a sign of movement right there. I can make that. It's a sign of movement. That arrow is moving us. It's a movement in the eye. It's taking us to a different place. We use those directions, the lines and direction to get viewers to see exactly what we want them to see, when we want to see it, how we want them to see it. And it's fun to work with. We see it like if you look at like 1970s designs, you're going to see a lot of this directional lines in it, in the brown, orange, and yellow kind of with a tan background. I used it in a project recently because I just like that style. But it's lines used to direct the eye, to create movement, to make it seem like more than what it really is. This is always that classic one that we do. Where it's like one's down the middle and then one like kicks out. It's like the Atari, and like for some reason that makes it seem like it's coming from way back here and going down the wall and zooming at us. So that's a really great way to do that. And this can then be kind of determined and thought of as a pattern. Patterns, repeating patterns. We like that. A pattern makes us comfortable because it's a repeating set of items, and we're like, ah, yes, a repeating pattern. Tile, wallpaper, floor, carpet tiles. It's all a repeating pattern. There's really not a lot of like full randomness. We try to get it, but you can find the repeat everywhere. And repeating patterns can help move that eye, can help create that flow. When we add in something like anomalies, it's a change in the rhythmic movement. Call it anomaly. Will help, like you'll be like pattern, 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 pattern. Oh, something's different. And then so that leads us there. We think that we're following the repetition until something changes. Again, great examples over there. Color gradients is a great way to get the eye to move around the piece. And we just did that. If you were in my Photoshop class and I showed you how to do those duotone color gradients, like it adds so much to a piece. And even though there's no movement happening, gradual color changes can suggest that movement. If you're moving from dark to light, like that's how do you make it like the basic sun, like backdrop for a sky, dark at the top, light at the bottom, like as it goes from dark blue to light blue in the horizon, like that's it. You just create a depth, you create a movement, like all these things. And then that's how our perspective works with shading. I just talked about it this morning with another group. We were working on a different, we were still on the elements, but I was talking about that, how the atmosphere changes. And then so lighter is further away, darker is closer to us. And so that the color gradients can create some movement. We can see like, oh, something's further away, something's closer. That is creating movement in the piece for us. The arrangement of typography and text flow. That's what I was talking about when I showed you that first page. I had it set up. I had a small word, then a big word, then a small word, then a big word. And it's not just the fact that how we read left to right in our Western civilization world, Western world, we call it. We read top to bottom, left to right. And if you change the way we read it, you change the way people follow through it. So if you have words all over the place, or you have them following something, we may read it differently and get to the movement, get into a text flow that is different than our standard boom, 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 which in turn can make a very exciting piece. So the way you lay out the type, and you guys will have a chance to work on that today. Implied motion. So that's what I think everybody thought of probably when I opened up this lecture. It was like movement is what we're going to talk about. And implied motion is our first one. And a lot of these have implied motion. And it's so easy to imply motion. Like, and I have this one. The flying bird. How do you do that? Oh. Like, honestly, like, that's honestly all we do to imply motion of a flying bird is like some M's. And it totally works. It totally gets people, like, oh yeah, no, those are birds. I see it. And there's nothing, they're just M's. They're just flattened M's. So there's so many things we can do to imply that motion in that way. And it's, just getting to the great amount of fun we can have in design. Hierarchy and focal points, establishing a clear hierarchy in design is like what we need to do. It is like very, very important. And you can tell people, you can show them exactly where they should be reading with motion. Everything is directing the eye to one thing and be like, that's what I want the takeaway to be. I want you to use and look here and read this. Be entertained with the motion, and then finally see that thing. We'll see that right here in a bunch of the pieces. So it's a great way, another great way. when we go through these, when we're studying these and it's like one a week and there's 15 total, 15 total of these. It's not often that you're going to think, is there movement in my piece? Which is sort of sad. And I don't think about this enough. And we have this class together, and I wish we could do it more. If it was a 4-year program, we'd probably do it more, where I would insist on like, you have to do like a full-on design that incorporates movement as its, number one feature. And then, we go through all these, our other ones where I'd be like, contrast is a number one feature, and balance and emphasis and focal point. But those being weekly, we would need more than a week to try to establish something like that. So, but hierarchy, no matter what, and establishing hierarchy and focal points for the piece, that's a number one thing that should happen. And I think movement's a great way to do that. And then the use of space is the last one that we talk about in the elements, but the use of space. How do we arrange a space to create that perceived movement in a piece? It's all about how you space things out. And you'll see that I love this one on the right. Just the way things are spaced out makes us think that movement is happening. Nothing else but the way things are spaced. So it's easy, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's a really creative way to get things done. Right here. So we could perceive this as a pattern. It is a single fish. It is a single shape reminiscent of a fish from the top down, in different sizes, somewhat equally spaced, slowly getting smaller to a focal point of creating many fish, creating a single fish, and then these single fish swimming away. Better life, better home, the earth. But all that, just brings us around. Like, it's so amazing. And actually, this piece brings us up actually from the bottom. As many times as I've seen this piece, I always start here and then go up and then kind of come around to reading this in the end. I do think maybe this fish should be facing the other way, so it brings us back around, but I didn't design this piece. But so much movement in what could be perceived as a pattern. This is a pattern that is creating movement, that is creating something else, that is drawing the eye and helping us circle around and know that better life, better home, the earth. Love it. Love it. Just so simple and easy to do. Typography. This is like a roller coaster. You start off and you come swinging and boom, like you follow these things, and this one, this serif or this serif come flying in. And then it's like, because it's on this angle, there's so much motion going on, like thin, and like you kind of feel like if you're up here and then you slid down here and you start to read more and you slide down, you slide off, and it's so much fun. And it's these angles and the way they work together to imply movement. There's no movement there. Excuse me. This does not rotate. Okay. The right way. I'm going to do this because I can. Okay, I took that piece. Now I'm going to open up in Photoshop. And I'm going to go to the desktop, and into screenshot. This one, open. So there it is. Now, I killed the movement. This does not move as much as it did when it was. Here it is. It's like blocked out, and it's almost very sitting down. Here, you want to slide around it like mirror, mirror, mirror. All by turning it like what, I don't even know what that was. 45 degrees. Let's just say 45 degrees. So crazy what you can do with that. All right. I like this piece because of the repetition. Again, there is pattern here, just like this fish. It's the same arm, the same head, except for, two are turned. But it's 1, 2, 3, basically the same head, almost the same hairstyle, same legs, same everything. They just change the colors. And the way they just have these shapes implies this movement in a lot of it. Like, this is really cool that they got this much movement from what would be considered flat design. And it's like all the same pose. I like this piece so much. So simple. And then just simple text. And it's surrounding the text here. Very simple what you can do and make it feel so energetic. This one, who just coming sweeping down the road. And then, so you come sweeping down the road, you leave the page, and then you come back up. But what happens? Part of the road disappears, and you come back up over that road. Like, this is like a roller coaster on a single page, or it's or a poster. If this was a poster or it was a magazine ad, but just in itself, just by doing this. And they didn't do the lame, where they could have just been like, you know what I mean? They went off the page and then made sure that there was a line here, that there was going to be a jump, like a system of like, somewhere I see the road disappear. And now I came here, tooling down the road, and then went really low, and then came up and over. Like, how much fun. This person's smiling. They're having so much fun in their Austin 850 with up to 60 miles per gallon and seats 4. I want that. What do you get with it? Austin answers every driving need with the choice of 6 great cars. 6! So, but again, and the other great part, which all these, I didn't, some of them, most of them, 2 colors, yellow and black. 1 color, white and blue. 1 color, black and white. Like, it's almost like once you add movement, you don't have to add anything else. You're done. And then this, I like it. So this being the simple movement, like old school. I don't know when this was. I'd have to look it up. It wasn't this year. It was the previous one, if anybody knows that history. The previous France Olympics. Almost the same style design here, but all they're doing, fewer people out here, more here. And because they did that, we get this feeling that they're all moving. And where are they all moving to? The title of the festival. It's so much fun. Like, and it's not like something like, what would make you think of this? Like, that's the other thing. Like, I get it for the car commercial, but here it's I have no idea what this says. Malagala scene. But it's just the fact that they're all walking here. And it's the same basic poses. Like, it's a foot front, they changed some colors. There's not a lot. I'm sure you can find all the repeats in here that they did, where they just changed colors. Here it is. This person and this person. Here and here. Curved arms. They just changed the color of the people, changed the hair. But we have fewer out here, more over here, which then implies movement from one area to another. So easily done. So I really like this. I think it's a lot of great fun in this with movement and creating movement within a design piece. You guys can do it. All right. So that is movement. No, I don't want a quick note. All right. As we know, we do our movement research. One book cover, one movie poster, and an album cover. Have some fun with this one. we're getting further and further. Your project should get better and better and better. You have more time. You know what you're doing. They should be looking awesome and coming across like you're designers and you've been designing for 10 weeks now. You've been in this for 10 weeks. They should be looking fantastic. All right, the movement project. 6 composition using line, pattern, and typography to define movement in design. So our lecture slides showed all of that. There is pattern, there is line, and there is typography. And what I want you to do is do exactly that. Let's file open. I'll get it to you in a second. There you go. Movement. We got to do it with line, do it with pattern, do it with typography. Remember to use your layers. A couple of you, make sure you're using the right layers. It says your artwork here. That's where it should be. Learn to use layers. It's good for your professional development. When you work here, and then everything will hide when you're done. Done these in a certain sort of way. Experiment. I don't want the same thing up here and down here. I want you to play around. I want you to have some fun. Work with this. Do a good design. Then, finally, for your final, you are in the stage of you have started putting all your pieces into the design. And that's what was due, or that's what's due at the end of the day. So throughout the next week, you should be using the midweek review, sending your work to me and saying, what do I need to improve? Because once this is due on Tuesday, we're done. So don't wait until next week, Tuesday. Get the work in early, show it to me. Let's work back and forth and get you a poster that is magnifique for the final. And then we're going to move on to the final project. So just discussion bar, midweek review. Here, how's it looking? What should I change? What should I update? Boom, I'll get back to you. Every day I check that. Every day except for like once a weekend, I don't check it, take a break. But get that up there and we'll make the changes and see what you got to do. Because of that, because I like people to really concentrate on this final, we will not be having a lecture on Thursday. I will be here. I'll double check. I'll send you notes. But I won't have a lecture because I want you guys to concentrate on really knocking out your first big project for me. So is there any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, great. Again, I'll be here on Thursday. I'll send out a reminder. I will be here. Don't worry, I'm here so you can use computers. It just won't. I'll let you use the time to work. All right, take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.